I don't drink these days. I'm allergic to alcohol and narcotics. I break out in handcuffs. This particular maxim from Robert Downey Jr. is a really often repeated piece of advice that's shared in recovery circles. Here it is in a meme form, and it's attributed to Robert Downey Jr. It's not as simple as it seems, because if you were to look right here, the first instance of apparently I'm allergic to alcohol every time I break out into handcuffs, apparently attributed to The Guardian in 1993. That was the earliest use. And then a decade later, then Robert Downey Jr. used it. It's a phrase that's been used time and time again. As you can see here up on the screen, many different times, many different places has this been cited, reused, and here are all those instances. A quote that might have been anonymous, innocuous, or maybe someone just wrote it at some point, then just gets tagged and attributed to Robert Downey Jr. Not faulting Robert Downey Jr. It's a funny quote. It's a funny thing to say. And people laugh, and they need to laugh when they have just gotten sober. Coming into recovery, you need to hear jokes. And this was one of the first jokes that I heard. I thought it was brilliant. When you tie it to an individual, and especially to someone who is seen as a huge figure when you think of recovery, I guess, in the public sphere. Normal people also get sober. Here we have someone who is less famous than Robert Downey Jr., who probably came up with this witty saying. It's great for moving the needle forward in the eyes of the public when you see someone like Robert Downey Jr., who's super famous. But poor folks get sober too. I'm gonna rate this one stinky, and the reason why I'm rating this one stinky is just because of its history. Keeping on the Robert Downey Jr. train, let's look at this one. I mean, great message. Never judge people by their past. People learn, people change. I like this one a lot better. I think it's really important that you have this kind of juxtaposition of Robert Downey Jr. in prison scrubs, in a courtroom. I like it because it's not really promising a great future or wealth or anything really tied into it, which I really like a message like that. But the possibility of learning and changing is pretty powerful for someone who might be seeing this, who's in early recovery. But the funny thing about it, and I want to point this out, it's like your life could have been in public disgrace. You could have been all over the tabloids as a bad boy and a drug addict. And guess what? You can win a People's Choice Award. That's the best part. He's like rocking a People's Choice Award, which is just, can you name any of the categories at the People's Choice Award? Because I can't. But congratulations on the People's Choice Award, Robert Downey Jr. I really like this one. I'm going to give it a thumbs up, which happens to be an award that is gigantic. So I'll give it the big thumbs up OK award.